it's Steph from Happy Place to Grow, and as you can see, I am in my classroom. I wanted to check in with you. It is week 2, and as you know, I am working on making my class a great place for learning. I'm starting off in these first 2 weeks really setting up my classroom for success, and I got some tips from this book, The First Days of School. It's a book that I've read. I wanted to reread it this summer. It's so powerful, and it's helped me to refocus and rethink about how important the first 2 weeks of school are to setting up for success for the whole year. So I thought it would be helpful not only for me to do it in my classroom, but to share with you some of these great tips and let you know how they're working in my class. So here we go, week 2. Remember, the teacher is the difference. Now, one thing that this book emphasizes is the importance of setting up your class from day 1 with procedures and structure and being consistent. So some of the things I've been working on in these first 2 weeks have been how my students should work at their desks and how they should walk in the hall, how we should have good manners in the cafeteria. So just those simple things. What do you do at your seat if you need help? How should we walk down the hall? Why is it important to walk quietly? So I've started off right away with my classroom structure. The first week of school, I didn't go over any of my classroom rules. I just started working on structure and consistency and how to stay organized at their seat and how to solve some problems if they're working and they need help. So far, the students have worked into those routines really, really well. Week 2, I started in with my classroom rules. So on Monday, we came to this area, and first of all, we had a discussion about why rules are so important. How do they benefit everyone? And the students had some great ideas because I've got to get them to buy into the fact that rules are helpful, they keep us safe, and we can learn when we have those rules in place. And I always like to read this story to my students. It's called Listen Buddy. It's a cute story about a bunny rabbit that has trouble listening and he gets into some situations. So that's always a fun one. But it brings home the point that when you don't listen and follow directions, it can not only affect you, but other people too. So, cute story. Before you go into all the rules, it's always fun to read a story that can connect to behavior and that can help them to think about it. We also talked about each rule. So I went over each of these rules and we talked about what that would look like in the school and in the classroom. How could we, what does it look like if we're listening? I know you can't see that, but it says, the first rule says, listen when someone is talking. What does that look like? And the students gave lots of different thoughts about how they could listen. And we talked about treating everyone with first of all, we talked about what kindness is and what respect is. And we talked about how we could act out those things so that we could follow this rule. I like to focus on the positive. What does that look like? So that they have a model in their mind. And then as I see my students doing these things, I'm always quick to acknowledge and point out, oh, I like how Susie was saying thank you to the cafeteria workers. That is showing respect. I like how Johnny picked up trash on the playground and he's taking care of our school. So I like to not only go over these, show them and talk about real examples, but also when the students are modeling it, we point that out. Of course, we went over, I use a color chart. A lot of people use different things in their classroom. Whatever you use, whatever your management system is, be consistent with it. Keep going with it. Whatever you say you're doing, whatever the reward or consequences, make sure you follow through. That's the power in any system. I've turned all these backwards because I do have now my students' photographs on them. Everyone starts on green, and then as they are working through these, working on the carpet, solving problems at their seats, I just go over and clip them up, or I ask them to clip up. And I always say, I want you, Susie, to go clip up one level because you are doing, and then I give the example of what they actually did. It's really powerful to see as soon as you say, wow, I am really thankful for how Sally is on the carpet and she's listening and she's participating, and you move that student up. Everyone else, most everyone else, there's always one in the crowd, most all the students are on the carpet and they are really focused. So week 2, with putting things into order in my classroom, I am working on my class rules. These are powerful, but it's not just telling them the rules. And it's not even just expecting them to follow the rules. It's actually inspecting what you expect. So again, following through, being consistent, communicating with them what works, try to stay on the positive end of it because that's really powerful too. All right, I'm going to leave you with one quote from this book. I'm going to actually read it because I think it's really powerful. Student achievement at the end of the year is directly related to the degree to which the teacher establishes good control of classroom procedures. So it may seem not very exciting, kind of a dull way to start school, but again, your end of the year success is going to depend on establishing and practicing these classroom procedures. So I'm encouraging you, I'm encouraging myself to keep up the good work with these procedures. And hey, work into them slow, but remember, the first 2 weeks of school, that's the time frame that you want to really establish your classroom procedures. All right, I'm going to head out of here, and I am going to check back in with you next week on week 3. I'll leave you with another tip and let you know how things are going in my classroom. All right, until our next time together, as always, have a good one.